What's up, guys? I am Andrew Erickson, aka the Props Prophet, and today I'm coming at you with my favorite player props for NFL Week 6. But before we get into building those bankrolls, you want a chance to win a signed Odell Beckham Jr. Baltimore Ravens jersey, courtesy of bettingpros.com, your place to start betting smarter and not harder. All you have to do is subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel right now, comment below on this video, and that is it. We'll be announcing a winner right here on the channel. So make sure to turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize. Now, let's get to the best player props for Week 6. Getting started, Zay Flowers over 56.5 receiving yards. You can find this over at FanDuel Sportsbook. Look, I'm double downing on the Ravens passing attack in Week 6. Regression is going to work in their favor after they left so much production on the table last week, dropped passes galore for the Baltimore Ravens, and I think his prop is just way too low. He's gone over this projected total in 4 of his 5 games this season. He was Lamar Jackson's top target in Week 5, receiving 11 passes, 29% target share, caught 5 of them for 73 yards. He also saw more downfield looks. That's the really important part here. 16.7 average depth of target. He's not just getting the bubble screens around the line of scrimmage anymore. He's seeing actual downfield targets. So I like that in the fact that he's going to have a larger chance for more chunk yardage. Clear-cut Ravens wide receiver 1, 29% target share this season. He left production on the table last week, of course, with the drops. So buy the dip. Massive game coming against the Tennessee Titans. Flowers and DeAndre Hopkins are actually 2 wide receivers this season with the highest number of targets, receiving yards, and receptions to not have scored a touchdown yet this year. So Flowers has 9 total red zone opportunities, 7 targets and 2 carries, while Hopkins has 6 red zone targets. So I actually like, in addition to Zay Flowers over receiving yards, I like the anytime touchdown, first touchdown score for Zay Flowers. Better believe it. Start your Sunday morning off right with the Zay Flowers over and first touchdown prop. You'll love to see it, folks. Shifting gears to the 1 o'clock window of games Sunday. Logan Thomas over 36.5 receiving yards. Minus 120 over at BetMGM. The Falcons defense, you want to target it with the middle of the field, the tight end position. Their biggest weakness is their slot cornerback, who sometimes gets matched up against tight ends. So Logan Thomas, I think, is really set up well in this spot. Super involved in the passing game, leading the team high 11 targets last week, 23% target share, 9 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown in Week 5. He ran a route on 78% of the dropbacks. Atlanta's allowing the 5th most receiving yards to tight ends at 62 per game. So I like Logan Thomas in the over 36.5 receiving yards. I think it's just too low. I like his odds also to be the touchdown score, anytime touchdown, considering Atlanta has allowed a touchdown tight end to touchdown for a tight end in 3 of their last 5 games this season. Sticking to this game as well, I mentioned the cornerback position for the Falcons at slot, D. Alford being one of their biggest weaknesses. So I expect Curtis Samuel to stay very highly involved in the offense. Over 3.5 receptions for Curtis Samuel. Falcons defense is not good against slot receivers, so I think the prop, especially at plus money odds, you get plus 115 at some books, is music to my ears, folks. 6+ catches in back-to-back games, no fewer than 3 receptions in any game this season for Curtis Samuel. He gets a lot of scheme touches, so it's not even just like he has to run around and get open. Like, he's catching stuff behind the line of scrimmage, so that's easy ways to get receptions and rack them up for Curtis Samuel. Terry McLaurin's going to get the clamps on him from A.J. Terrell. Jahan Dotson's been up and down, so that's why I like Curtis Samuel, like Logan Thomas. More under-the-radar guys on this offense, but they're getting involved, and I think it's a good spot for them here against the Atlanta Falcons. Going towards the Browns game, Jerome Ford under 35.5 rushing yards. This game has a chance to be a total disaster. Deshaun Watson's not going to play, which means we're sniffing for the unders on the Browns side against the 49ers' fierce defense. Looking at their backfield, Ford is under 35.5 rushing yards. He's been under this number in his last 2 games where he's actually been the starter for the Browns. He ranks dead last in rushing success rate this season. And the games that he's gone under, he has 18 rushing yards and 26 rushing yards. So he hasn't even come close to 35.5 rushing yards. And now he's facing the 49ers defense with a backup quarterback starting. 49ers have allowed the fewest rushing yards per game to running backs at 43.4. Negative game script. Like, I don't know how many times the Browns are going to be able to run the football. So Jerome Ford, even off the bye week, I'm taking the under. And it's not the only under I'm taking on Browns running backs. Kareem Hunt under 8.5 receiving yards. Look, Kareem Hunt has been known in the past to be this like receiving back, but so far through 2 games, like he has not had that role in the Browns offense. Jerome Ford is really the guy that's been the pass catching back. And even though the 49ers give up a decent amount of running back production in the passing game, last 2 games, Hunt has ran a route on just 12 of 80 Browns dropbacks. That's 15%. So he has 2 targets. Ford has run a route on 60% of the dropbacks. So Hunt's just not out there enough, running enough routes to even just get a chance at catching 8.5 receiving yards. So even if he does catch one pass against the defense that the 49ers offer, there's no guarantee that he's even going to get to 8.5 yards. If he gets tackled behind the line of scrimmage, I think this one's an easy under here. So in the Betting Pros prop bet cheat sheet agrees with me, citing Hunt's projection at 3.6 receiving yards. That's way under 8.5. So pounding the under at Kareem Hunt. Going towards a receiver. We're going to do it over now. We're going to have some fun here. Jonathan Mingo over 30.5 receiving yards. So Mingo returned to the lineup after missing a game with a concussion. 5 catches for 48 yards. Was very reliable. 7 targets, 20% target share. Put Terrace Marshall Jr. back on the bench in week 5. DJ Chark was involved. Still 42 yards on 3 catches. 14 yards per catch. Scored a touchdown. He had 6 targets overall. Both Chark and Mingo have 30% or higher air yard share targets this year. But Mingo actually has the higher target share overall, 18%. So Mingo's coming off his best game to date. He's a rookie that they want to continue to stay involved. They are big underdogs against the Miami Dolphins, so you're going to assume that they're going to have to throw the ball a ton to try to keep pace. And last week, the first play of the game was a target to Jonathan Mingo. So they're designing plays to get him the ball in his hands. He's explosive with the ball in his hands. So I think that he's actually been more consistent than the boomer bust Chark. So if you're looking for a non-Adam Thielen receiver to kind of pop in this game, I think it is Jonathan Mingo. He has 7+ targets in Bryce Young's last 2 games. And, you know, with Chark has totaled fewer than 3.5 targets per game in 3 games with Bryce Young. So Mingo's getting the targets. He's getting stuff downfield. I like him to go over 30.5 receiving yards. Pretty low number for a guy of his skill set to hit. Joe Mixon, under 64.5 rushing yards. So Joe Mixon, I feel like I talk about him every single week. We're going back to the unders, though, this time, because the Seattle run defense is legit. Very improved from last year. 3.2 yards per carry allowed. 6th fewer rushing yards allowed per game, allowing just 2.6 yards per carry to specifically running backs. An average of 23 carries faced for just 59 yards. So Mixon's been kind of like on the trajectory upward of like rushing for a lot of yards, but he's still just not being super efficient. So I'm taking the under here. I know he got a lot last week against a bad Cardinals run defense. I think that he's going to have a smash of reality and go under here. Another running back I think is going to go under. Zach Moss, under 45.5 rushing yards. I don't know if I'm like loony or something. Like I'm like, seem like I'm much lower on Zach Moss than everybody else. Maybe I'm just totally wrong and reading the situation wrong. But look, everything that I've been reading is that he's going to split more carries with Jonathan Taylor. So the volume probably isn't going to be on his side. And the matchup is brutal this week. Jaguars, top 5 in terms of fewest rushing yards allowed per game, 8th in expected points added in run defense. So Zach Moss has obviously been super productive, but he's like run like extremely hot. Like he's breaking tackles at an absurd rate. He's getting a ton of carries. I just think that we're going to see some regression kick in here, and I think that he's fool's gold a little bit in both betting and the fantasy space. So I'm going to take the under at 45.5 rushing yards. Not taking the under here. Over Cole Kmet, 3.5 receptions. There's some weather in this game, which is kind of why I like leaning towards the tight end position versus DJ Moore, who's seeing more stuff downfield. Kmet's Justin Fields' safety blanket. Looking at what he's done so far this year, he has over 3.5 receptions in every single game except for 1. The Vikings rank 6th in terms of receptions allowed to tight ends, 5.8 per game. And like I said, Kmet has had over 3.5 catches in all but 1 game this season. He ranks 5th in the NFL in receptions overall among tight ends. And I actually think that he has interesting first touchdown odds at plus 1,100. He's 3rd in red zone targets among tight ends this season. And I think that we can all expect the Bears to score points. They're at home against the Vikings, who we don't know how efficient they'll move the ball without Justin Jefferson, especially with the weather also a concern. Definitely my favorite bet, though, of all of these, Ramondre Stevenson over 12.5 carries. You can get this at plus money as well. Going back to my Patriots, I know they've been dysfunctional. Can't watch them, can't coach them, can't do anything with them. But look at this Raiders defense. What are they bad against the run? They can't stop the run. 10th in rushing yards allowed per game. And the Patriots, the only way they're going to get any type of offense is if they run the football. They wanted to do this, but they have been able to because they're always down by 2 touchdowns to open the game. Don't think that's the case here against the Raiders, who have also been kind of sluggish in the beginnings of games as well. Raiders are facing an average of 30 carries per game this season. So I'm going to back Ramondre, not even the yards. Like, he doesn't even need to be efficient. Over 12.5 carries. He's had at least 12 carries in all but one game this season, which was last week when things just totally got off the rails. I think that the Patriots at least keep this game at least closely contested enough where they're going to feed Ramondre. I like his rushing prop as well over at 48.5 yards. Last but not least, for Monday Night Football, my favorite prop is Josh Palmer under 53.5 receiving yards. Basically, the matchup's not good. Cowboys allowing the fewest fantasy points per game to perimeter wide receivers, third fewest receiving yards allowed overall to wide receivers with the second lowest catch rate. So week 4, Palmer led the team with 8 targets, finishing with 3 catches for 77 yards. Again, the final stat line, though, is boosted by the last-minute 51-yard dart throw he caught from Justin Herbert to seal victory. But basically, Palmer did nothing for 59 minutes of that game. So keep in mind, Austin Eckler's coming back. That's going to influence Josh Palmer's target share, as is an additional role for rookie Quentin Johnston out of the bye week. Expect him to play more, command more targets in this offense. So going to take the under on Josh Palmer at 53.5 receiving yards. The Betting Pros prop bet cheat sheet agrees with me here as well, projecting Palmer for just 41.2 receiving yards, which is way under his betting line here at 53.5. So I think this is a strong under on Monday night. So if you're licking your wounds from Sunday afternoon's action, maybe Sunday night or Monday night is where you can get back in the green with Josh Palmer under. So that's going to do it for me, guys, for the Week 6 NFL slate, my favorite player props. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give a like, subscribe, and share with all your friends on the Betting Pros. And give me a follow on the Betting Pros app for sure. Definitely want to follow me there. Tail my first touchdown bets. I'm going to have a ton of them headed out this week because that's one of my favorite things to bet on as we watch these Sunday games unfold. But before you go, again, if you want a chance to win a signed Odell Beckham Jr. Baltimore Ravens jersey, courtesy of bettingpros.com, your place to start betting smarter and not harder, all you have to do is subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel right now, comment below on this video, and that's it. We'll be announcing a winner right here on the channel. So make sure to turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize. Thanks for watching, and good luck in Week 6.